Hello, beautiful people. This is Vlad from Synaptic Schism, and today I want to tell you about the 3.1 patch for Odin, the virtual MIDI guitar instrument. If you watched my previous video introducing Odin III, you will know that I have a copy that was made available by Solemn Tones. I'm very grateful for that. However, my opinions are my own, although I asked them a lot of questions and they helped me quite a bit. This is my opinion, this is my voice and my say in all of what you are about to listen. I have prepared this thing. This is an old song of mine that I created an instrumental with for the purposes of not only showing Odin III, but also other stuff that I want to address on future videos. So I created this track. So I'm going to play this. There are three guitars, a rhythm one, which is this one. Then you have a lo-fi kind of fingered guitar, which is this one. And then finally a lead guitar, which is this one here on the bottom. So I'm going to play this and then I'll tell you what are my opinions about the 3.1 patch and what you can benefit from it. Cool? So check this out. All right, I'm back. So what are the changes? I'm not going to go through all of them, just like practical examples of the things that they have implemented with this patch. So let's start with the ones that they focus the most on, which is the big fat chuggies. There's one more layer of palm mutes, and it's this one. So to give you an idea, before this change, this would sound like this. And now with this change, it sounds a little bit different. So this is a pretty cool addition. It offers more possibilities as far as palm mutes go. You can have a very, very tight palm mute to the point of a dead note, which is like the shortest that Odin III offers. And then this now is the longest. So you can have like this really long, almost ringing chugs, and you can do with them whatever you want. Since I often do things like this, so for instance, changing between sustains and different levels of palm mutes and so on, I think that this is going to be a very welcome addition for my riffs, like the more thrashy kind of riffs that I write. I think it's going to be pretty cool. It worked well here. And it's interesting because even with the silent note that I let one ring and then the second one doesn't ring. And you can hear the guitar stopping, you know? So this adds quite a bit of realism. if you check the track that I released a couple of days ago called Disturbed, you will find that you have guitar ringing after the guitar stops, and it gives like a really cool, like very believable effect of someone playing that guitar, which is really, really, really cool. Now, one of the things that I discussed with solemn tones was, as you can see, these are all pretty high in terms of velocity, and that's how you can get like the more modern present kind of chug sound. So yeah, pump it up there. If you are using articulations directly and not the alternate auto picking with the velocities, you can actually push this up to very high levels and have a very cool result. I'm also using Fenrir, which is Solemn Tones amp sim for this rhythm guitar. I will talk about it in a different video. It's pretty cool. Now, another point that they worked on was the pick attack. So I'm going to play exactly the same thing, and what you will see is this pick attack here. So I'm enforcing it, this is new, and then I'm adding almost 3 dB for that pick attack. I believe, I might be mistaken, but from what my ears tell me, this is very similar to what Axure has, for instance, with the pick. It's sort of almost a white noise that it's added for the pick, which is pretty cool. So I will play it with, and then I will remove it, okay? Gives a much more aggressive tone to it, and you can actually abuse it. So at 20 dB it sounds like this. I'm going to raise it and lower it so that you can listen to the difference. I find it pretty cool, and the cool thing is that you can use this in a way as a way of differentiating. So for instance, if I come here to the lo-fi guitar, so this lo-fi guitar is an Odin III that then goes to a Petrucci amp sim. But if you check with this guitar, what I have here is I don't have the pick attack at all. It's not enforced, and it's played, I'll show you the MIDI, it's played at a very low velocity. So, and forcing the strings and all of that stuff. So that sounds like this. So very smooth, as if I was playing with my fingertips, right? Now, you can absolutely add pick attack. I wouldn't advise it, but you can, and it will sound like this. And the difference is as if you were playing with your fingers against playing with your pick, right? You have that attack. I preferred it without the attack, and you can go even a little bit further with this. If you go to the lead guitar, I don't have the pick attack, but I also added a little bit of soften attack, and what that gives me is a much more mellow kind of sound. And now you can listen here. So with this, I'm basically removing every single pick by introducing this half mute here, which is kind of nice. And since we have auto slide, we listen to stuff like this, which is really cool and sounds awesome. Speaking of auto slide, we now have this thing, let me get this again, which is, this was an issue I was having. You see this slide here? So the problem I was having was I could have the chords playing if I had, let me show you, it's easier. If I had the auto chord delay here, I could have the chords. So when I played 2 or 3 notes together, it would introduce this delay to the higher ones or the lower ones, depending on what was the articulation that you were using, and then it would play like a chord right? The problem with that was that then I couldn't really use the auto slide. So there are two new things. The first one is, let's talk about the slide. The slide allows us to do this. I don't know if you heard that. And have this, but at the same time, we can also have auto power chords, which is another thing that was added. So this is the normal playing that I have. It finishes with the chord. So this chord is going to trigger that 20 millisecond difference. Right? Now, what you can do now, you can go to these auto chords, to this auto chord, and everything becomes a chord. So now it's up to you. You can have the plugin prepared to play those chords, and then you write the chords with whatever sustain that you want, or even palm mutes, or you can default to use a power chord. You can trigger the slides whenever you want. It's up to you, really. Since I'm not a big fan of using the velocities for the automatic picking thing, I prefer to have every single articulation defined by me at every single point in time. So pretty much like you see here, but with Reaticulate. What happens is that I very much prefer to have this kind of arrangement where I can have this being played as a chord if I want to. I can have these notes being played as a chord, but just by triggering that specifically articulation, you can trigger the slides. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want because now you have the tools to do whatever you want. I think that this is a brilliant addition to the plugin and one that I'm certainly going to abuse it. But for now, I really want these to be sustained. This was just for demonstration purposes. So everything that is related with going from one note sustains to power chords to designing your own chords to go into slides and so on, you don't need to depend on how you have everything prepared within the plugin for it to work amazingly well. So brilliant addition. Now, another thing that they added was the pinch harmonics. So the pinch harmonics have got a lot of work. Basically, they added a whole new layer of pinch harmonics. They call it the nasty pinch harmonics. And it's basically those harmonics with an attitude, like with the bends and the tremulous things and so on. So check this out. It will be in the lead guitar. And they sustain brilliantly also. The way that I want to use this, I'm always talking about the track that I just released, but it was released 2 days ago, so I'm very excited about it. My apologies. I used this actually in the rhythm guitar, just to complement the end of a thing, and I wasn't happy. I'm usually not happy with pinch harmonics. Now with this one, it just integrates brilliantly into the guitar, and I will use them. The only thing that you need to do is really just trigger the nasty pinch, and it's done. And it works really well. It has a cool sound and so on. All of this led to a change in the articulations. So I will leave a Dropbox link in the description where you can get the Reaticulate banks and also the note names. So if I show you this, you see that I have all the note names here so that you can see it directly in Reaper. I'm going to leave a zip with all of this stuff. You can download it, and no, it's not one of those things like to get your email. I don't care. It's fine. It's free. Just get it and use it in your projects. Okay. Now, one thing that I used a little bit, but I want to use more because of the way that I want to write music is the tuning system. So for instance, this guitar is a 6.3 is standard, and the reason why I picked this specifically and then added each one of the strings that I wanted to play is because I want this guitar part to be played exactly as I play it, which gives a pretty cool result in the guitar. And this is now behaving as a 6-string guitar. Okay, now we can, for instance, if we check the lead guitar, you will see that I've not done anything similar to that, and that's basically just ignorance on my part. I know what I want to do, so since all of my bass guitars are in B standard, I want to have by default all of the guitars of the tracks I will write in the future to also be in B standard, because I want to have that 1 octave separation between the two, and I just want the guitars to behave as closely to what I would be playing. This raises other issues that I'm not going to address here, but for instance, you can see that the mode, I've put its auto in soloist. There, I had quite a bit of exchanges with Solemn Tones, speaking specifically about the rhythm guitar, and I got some really cool feedback from them. So for instance, you get very different sounds from picking position 1, position 2, and so on. So between choosing the correct tuning for your guitar, also picking up the mode, either manual or auto, and then choosing the best auto position that works the best with your guitar and with the music that you want to write is a good thing. Taking a couple of minutes to actually sort this out, it offers really, really good results. So do that. Now, regarding quality of life kind of stuff, they added this thing, which is the key switch latching. Now, this was something I mentioned in the original video. I found that this was potentially an issue, but the way that I saw it was that this is a feature as in this is how it works, and the expectations that you have like these long notes for the stuff that you want. But latching is relevant when you just want to add just like a MIDI instruction there, and then it just behaves as it should. If you are using my Reaticulate banks, that is not an issue. The bank latches automatically, so you don't have to worry about this. But if you are writing on MIDI or on some other DAW that doesn't support latch, I'm not aware of any that doesn't, but just in case, you can have, or you're just putting stuff on MIDI, you can have this key switch latching just to help you and make everything a lot easier, to be quite honest. And yeah, these are the things that I wanted to address for Odin 3.1. I think it was quite an improvement, especially for the way that I write guitar parts. These things, especially this auto chord and this auto slide, they help a lot, and they make the whole thing a lot easier to write with. I'm looking forward to see where I can bring this moving forward with these changes. So if you have any questions, just let me know. If you want to find me, I'm on Twitter, Synaptic Schism. You can just search me there and we can chat. If you want the Reaticulate banks and also the names for the MIDI editor, get the Dropbox link from the description. You will find the files there. Cool. So if you have any ideas, just let me know. I hope that this video helped. And until the next video, bye-bye.